I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you're working on this like deeply complex financial model on your computer.
Yeah.
You are completely in the zone.
Oh, yeah. That is the best feeling when you're just dialed in.
Right. But to actually do any of the math, you have to constantly stop, turn totally away from your screen, and punch numbers into this clunky physical calculator sitting on the edge of your desk.
That sounds honestly pretty miserable.
It really is. You hit equals, you look at the tiny screen, you turn back to your keyboard, and you type the result into your document. I mean, it works, sure.
Yeah, technically it works.
But it completely destroys your focus. You are constantly shifting context. Now, imagine the modern alternative. Imagine having mathematical formulas built directly into every single cell of your spreadsheet.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's completely different.
Exactly. You don't switch tools. You don't turn your head. The environment you were already working in just does the heavy lifting out of sight right alongside you.
It's basically the difference between consciously operating a piece of machinery and having a capability seamlessly woven into your actual environment.
Right.
One creates friction and, the other accelerates every single thing you do.
And that profound shift, that evolution from the separate, clunky calculator to the invisible, embedded formula that is the exact playbook we are seeing unfold in the highest levels of the business world right now with artificial intelligence. So welcome to today's Deep Dive.
Had to be here. This is a big one.
It really is. Today, we are unpacking a massive shift in the global business landscape that crystallized on May 19, 2026. KPMG announced this sweeping global alliance with Anthropic.
Right, the makers of the Claude AI model.
Exactly. And we're digging into this because, honestly, this is not just another standard software update. This is the blueprint for how enterprise AI will operate for the next decade.
Yeah, we are basically watching AI move out of those isolated browser tabs and directly into the core systems where, high-stakes professional work actually happens.
Which is huge. And just a quick note for you listening. Because we are unpacking some serious strategy and specific business terminology today, we're going to take this conversation at a really relaxed, premium pace.
Yeah, no need to rush.
Right, we're aiming for about 15 to 20% slower than a typical business show. We really want to help you absorb the strategy and the language here.
Which is super helpful because there is a lot of nuance.
Definitely. So let's just dive right into the sheer scale of what's happening. Because when you read the fine print of that May 19 announcement, KPMG is giving its global workforce access to Anthropic's Claude.
And we are talking about a massive number of people.
We are. More than 276,000 employees globally. That's just a staggering operational undertaking. We're looking at a true enterprise rollout.
That's a great term.
Yeah, meaning a company-wide deployment of a tool rather than just a small test group. It's a phrase you'll really want to use to establish scale in your own strategy meetings. You'd say, this is not a small pilot. It is an enterprise rollout.
And, that kind of scale requires an incredible amount of underlying infrastructure.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, provisioning 276,000 employees isn't just about handing out passwords. It is about network bandwidth, data security, load balancing across global servers.
It's a whole IT nightmare, I'm sure.
Absolute nightmare. But to prove this isn't just an isolated incident or a one-off experiment by KPMG, we only have to look back a few days prior.
Right, mid-May was wild.
It was. On May 14th, 2026, PwC announced their own expanded partnership with Anthropic.
Wow.
Yeah, they are rolling out Claude Code and Claude Cowork, starting with their U.S. teams, with a plan to train and certify 30,000 professionals.
That's massive.
And eventually, they plan to expand that across their own global workforce of hundreds of thousands.
So within a single week, two of the absolute largest professional services networks in the world are making massive structural bets on the exact same technology.
Exactly. That signals a permanent industry transition. The entire sector is moving from pilot to production.
Now, let's pause on that phrase.
Yeah, it basically means moving from simple experimentation in a sandbox to real operational everyday use. In a boardroom discussion about AI maturity, you might frame it by saying, the story is AI moving from pilot to production.
I love that. It really captures the shift.
It is the defining theme of the 2026 landscape.
Yeah.
We've spent the last few years playing with these models, marveling at their ability to write poems or summarize emails.
Right, the fun stuff.
Exactly. But the novelty phase is officially over.
Okay, I have to jump in here and challenge this a bit.
Go for it.
Because Throwing massive numbers around, saying you're giving 276,000 people access to a tool, it sounds fantastic on an earnings call.
Sure does.
But having an app installed on my work laptop doesn't automatically make me a better consultant or accountant. Does access actually translate to tangible business value?
Well, that is the multi-million-dollar question right there. And it is exactly what C-suite executives are demanding answers to right now.
Because they're footing the bill.
Exactly. And the 2026 State of AI Agents report confirms that leaders are aggressively pivoting away from vanity metrics.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they do not care how many employees logged into a chatbot last week. They care about efficiency gains, error reduction, and margin expansion. They're demanding measurable outcomes.
Another key phrase.
Right, which simply refers to business results that can be clearly quantified and tracked, rather than just vague excitement about new technology.
That's super practical.
It really is. If you are advocating for a new tool at your own company, you have to remember, executives want measurable outcomes, not just AI excitement.
Which naturally leads us to the mechanics of how KPMG actually plans to get those measurable outcomes. Because if buying 276,000 standalone logins to a generic chatbot doesn't move the needle, what are they doing differently?
It all comes down to where the AI actually lives. KPMG is not asking its employees to open a separate browser tab to ask Claude questions.
So no switching to the clunky calculator.
Exactly. They're integrating Claude Cowork and Manage agents directly into what they call Digital Gateway.
Let's unpack Digital Gateway for a second, because understanding this architecture is crucial. Digital Gateway is built on Microsoft Azure, right?
Yes, it is.
But more importantly, it is what the industry calls a client delivery platform.
Right.
That is the central, secure software environment a firm uses to actually execute and deliver services to its clients. It's like the central nervous system of the firm.
That's a good way to put it.
Thanks. You would describe this architecture by saying KPMG is putting Claude inside its client delivery platform.
And, think about the technical implications of that. Digital Gateway is where KPMG's proprietary tax methodologies live.
Oh, wow. So the real secret sauce.
Exactly. Their internal compliance tools, their highly sensitive client data, it all resides there. By bringing Claude directly into that specific Azure environment, they are bringing the intelligence to the data.
Instead of forcing employees to manually copy-paste data over to the intelligence.
Yes, which is a huge security risk anyway.
Let me make this incredibly concrete for you, because there's this stunning detail in the source material that perfectly illustrates this mechanism in action.
Oh, the tax regulation example.
Yes. Imagine a junior analyst is tasked with monitoring complex tax regulation changes across multiple international jurisdictions.
Sounds tedious.
Very. Historically, doing that was a nightmare of context switching. You had to pull historical data from an internal database, cross-reference it with new external tax codes in another window, paste it all into a spreadsheet, and try to synthesize an impact report.
Just a lot of manual grunt work.
Weeks of it. It took weeks of manual effort. But now, with Claude sitting right inside Digital Gateway with direct, secure access to all that historical client data and the new tax codes, building an AI agent to handle that specific comparison takes minutes.
Weeks of manual, friction-filled work reduced to minutes of synthesis.
It's mind-blowing.
It is. And it works because the AI has the contextual awareness of the firm's specific environment. It understands how the firm formats its reports and, what specific risks to look for.
Because it is functioning as an embedded workflow.
Yes.
And this is arguably the most important concept we will discuss today. It means the artificial intelligence is built directly into the step-by-step process that people already use every single day.
It is the holy grail of enterprise AI.
Truly. If there's one phrase to define the future of enterprise tech, it is this. The key is not the chatbot. It is the embedded workflow.
That is the entire paradigm shift. If AI lives in a separate window, it's optional. You have to remember to use it.
Right, you have to write a complex prompt.
You have to copy the data over securely. But if the AI lives inside the platform where your tax, legal, cybersecurity, and private equity work is already happening naturally, the AI essentially becomes the process itself.
It surfaces insights before you even ask. But let's pause and look at the human cost of that efficiency.
Ah, the elephant in the room.
Yeah, because if I am a consultant, a junior lawyer, or a financial analyst listening to this right now, a very loud alarm bell is ringing in my head.
Understandably so.
If complex, multi-week tax regulation work can now be synthesized by an embedded workflow in minutes, what happens to me? Do firms like KPMG and PwC really need hundreds of thousands of human employees anymore?
It is the most common fear associated with this technology, but we really need to look at the reality of professional services to understand why that fear is largely misplaced.
Okay, reassure me.
AI is fundamentally changing the nature of the work, but it is not replacing the professional services workforce. There is this fascinating piece of joint research published by KPMG and the University of Texas at Austin that addresses this exact dynamic.
What did they find?
Their findings highlight that the true value of artificial intelligence in an enterprise setting does not depend solely on the intelligence or speed of the underlying model.
So where does the value actually come from?
It is unlocked entirely by how the human employees exercise their judgment, how they critically evaluate the AI's outputs, and how they make the final strategic decisions.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. AI is incredible at synthesis and pattern recognition, but it possesses absolutely zero accountability.
Accountability. The machine can draft the report, but the machine can't go to jail if the report is wrong.
Exactly.
The human is the editor and the underwriter, not just the typist, which means these workflows require a human in the loop.
A very crucial concept.
Yeah, this refers to a system design where a machine might do the heavy lifting, but a person is intentionally stationed to review, guide, and make the ultimate decision.
You really can't skip that step.
No, you can't. If you are designing processes for your own team, you have to advocate for this. In regulated work, you need a human in the loop.
Exactly. You have to remember the stakes of the industries we are talking about here. Professional services tax, legal compliance, AI assurance, private equity mergers.
High-state stuff.
Super high stakes. These fields do not tolerate error. They depend entirely on strict confidentiality, unshakable accountability, and absolute accuracy.
Because if a consumer chatbot hallucinates a fake restaurant recommendation, it's slightly annoying.
Right. But if an embedded AI agent hallucinates a financial liability during a multi-billion-dollar private equity acquisition, it is a catastrophic disaster.
A completely business-ending disaster.
Yeah.
Which is why you can't just plug an AI model into a massive client database and hope for the best.
Precisely. And this is where KPMG's specific architecture becomes so vital. They rely on what they call their trusted AI framework.
So it's not just a marketing slogan.
No, this isn't just a mission statement. It is a rigid technical architecture. It involves strict data siloing, so one client's data never trains the model for another client.
Oh, that's huge.
It is. It involves role-based access controls, so the AI will only summarize documents that the specific employee asking the question is legally allowed to see.
All of which forms what the industry calls a governance layer.
Yes.
This refers to the strict rules, security controls, and technical oversight mechanisms dictating exactly how AI can and cannot be used within a company's network. It is the invisible shield protecting the data.
That's a perfect way to visualize it.
When discussing data security with clients, you can assure them by saying, the governance layer is what makes the rollout credible.
Corporate clients simply will not allow this technology anywhere near their proprietary data without a bulletproof governance layer. But here is the most surprising insight from the 2026 State of AI Agents report.
Oh, lay it on me.
Getting the technology, the APIs, and the governance right isn't actually the hardest part of the equation.
Wait, really? If building a secure, hallucination-free embedded AI system isn't the hardest part, what is?
The humans.
The humans.
Always the humans. The report explicitly states that the return on investment ceiling, the maximum possible value a company can extract from AI, is no longer limited by the capability of the technology.
Okay.
It is limited entirely by a company's willingness and ability to completely redesign their workflows and reskill their workers. You are asking highly paid, highly experienced professionals to fundamentally change how they have worked for the last 20 years.
Wow, yeah. You are asking a senior partner who has billed clients by the hour using a very specific manual process for decades to suddenly trust a digital agent to do that work in 3 minutes.
Right.
That is a massive psychological hurdle. It requires rigorous change management.
Which is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, this is the structured, disciplined approach to helping people and organizations transition to completely new ways of working and behaving. It is about psychology as much as software.
It really is.
You will constantly hear leaders emphasize this by saying, the hard part is not only technology, it is change management.
Because if you fail at that, the most brilliant, secure, embedded workflow in the world will just sit there completely unused.
People will just revert back to the physical calculator on their desk because it feels safer.
Exactly.
That is such a crucial point. Okay, so we have looked deeply at how KPMG is utilizing this technology internally to protect and serve their clients. We understand the scale of the rollout, the magic of the embedded workflow, the necessity of the governance layer, and, the human psychology required to make it stick.
It's a lot of moving parts.
It is. But let's rotate the camera for a minute and look at the broader tech business landscape. We need to look at Anthropic. Why is this specific alliance so strategically critical for the AI company?
Now we are getting into the real chess match of enterprise software.
I love that chess match.
Because this alliance isn't just a simple one-way transaction where KPMG handed Anthropic a check for a software license. The terms of the deal reveal a highly symbiotic relationship.
Right. The source documents highlight a very specific, almost unusual angle. KPMG isn't just a massive customer. Anthropic has officially named KPMG a preferred partner for private equity engagements.
Which perfectly illuminates KPMG's underlying motivation here. They don't just want to use the tools, they want to be seen as the absolute vanguard of the market.
They want to be the ones leading the charge.
Exactly. They want to be the firm that Fortune 500 executives call when they are terrified of falling behind in the AI race.
They are cementing their status as a trusted advisor.
Right.
This describes a professional or a firm that clients deeply rely on, not just for tactical services, but for high-level strategic judgment and wisdom. In a volatile market, trust is the ultimate currency.
It really is.
You can sum up their entire corporate strategy by recognizing KPMG wants to remain a trusted advisor in an AI-native world.
They want to hold their clients' hands as they navigate this transition. But let's look at what Anthropic gets out of this, because it is a masterclass in B2B software strategy.
Let's hear it.
Selling enterprise software directly to massive, highly regulated corporations is agonizingly slow.
Oh, I've heard the sales cycles are brutal.
They are. If Anthropic wants to sell Claude directly to a global bank or a massive healthcare provider, they have to navigate a sales cycle that can take 12 to 18 months.
That's a lifetime in tech.
It is. They have to undergo endless security audits, legal reviews, and procurement negotiations just to get in the door.
Building a sales team large enough to knock on all those individual doors one by one is just incredibly expensive and inefficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is the alternative?
Partnering.
You partner with a firm that already has the keys to the kingdom. KPMG already advises the biggest companies in the world. They have already passed the security audits.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Right. They are already deeply embedded in their clients' infrastructure. By integrating Claude into Digital Gateway, Anthropic is essentially using large professional services firms to reach thousands of corporate clients simultaneously.
It is an incredibly elegant solution to the customer acquisition problem. Anthropic is using KPMG as a distribution channel.
Precisely.
This means a route or a structured method through which a product or service reaches the final end-user customers. It basically bypasses the traditional sales friction entirely.
It's a win-win.
It really is. In analyzing tech partnerships, you would point this out by saying KPMG can become a distribution channel for Claude.
And, just to be absolutely clear for you listening right now, we are analyzing this purely from the perspective of business trends, go-to-market strategies, and operating models.
Right. This is an analysis of strategy.
Exactly. We are unpacking how massive tech companies and consulting firms maneuver in a complex landscape. We are entirely focused on the strategy and are not making any stock predictions or offering any sort of investment advice today.
Absolutely. Just pure business strategy.
Yeah.
But when you step back and look at the elegance of that strategy, the combination of KPMG's deep industry trust and Anthropic's underlying intelligence, it really brings the entire future of the industry into focus.
It really paints a clear picture.
We are literally watching the playbook for the next decade of enterprise tech being written right in front of us.
We truly are. If we synthesize everything we have unpacked today, from the hundreds of thousands of employees getting access, to the dramatic efficiency gains of weeks turning into minutes, to the brilliant distribution channel strategy, a very clear reality emerges for the future.
And what's that reality?
The ultimate winners in the enterprise AI space are not necessarily going to be the companies that build the flashiest, smartest standalone chat models.
Right. Because a flashy demo in a browser window is fun to play with, but it doesn't fundamentally change the operating model or the profit margins of a global firm.
Exactly. The true winners will be the organizations that master trust, the ones that can successfully architect the governance layer to protect sensitive data.
That's step one.
Yep. the ones that master change management, and most importantly, the ones that successfully build those embedded workflows where artificial intelligence is seamlessly combined with high-stakes human judgment.
The human in the loop.
Always the human in the loop.
It all comes back to how the machine empowers the person. Whether you're working in tech, in legal compliance, in private equity, or in a completely different industry entirely, you need to be paying close attention to this shift.
It's going to impact everyone.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because this playbook, moving AI from a novelty chat window into the core operating system and the daily workflow of a business, it is coming to your desk very, very soon. It is no longer an experiment. It is the new standard.
It is no longer a question of if artificial intelligence will be integrated into your daily workflow, but how deeply it will be embedded and, how effectively you and your team can manage that profound change.
Exactly. The calculator is being built directly into the spreadsheet, and it is going to permanently change how we all work.
It sure is.
Well, as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought. Something to quietly mull over as you go about your day and interact with the digital tools you use for your own work.
It's a good one to think about.
Yeah. Think about your own daily processes, the sensitive data you handle, and the decisions you make. Would you trust an AI assistant more if it lived inside your company's official workflow? Or would you rather keep it separate in a chat window?